Katie Bavoso is at the funeral home where that procession is getting started. Katie?
Good morning, Don and Cindy. It's definitely a day you can feel there's a lot of somber feelings hanging in the air right now. We're standing in front of the Smart and Edwards funeral home where the body of Corporal Eugene Cole is inside waiting to be transported to Bangor. I'll step out of the way so you can get an idea of what we're seeing here. We have not started the procession just yet, but I can tell you from what I've seen, the hearse is on site. At this time, I'm unsure if Corporal Eugene Cole's body has been put inside. Those bicycles, motorcycles specifically, that you see lined up there, those are from the NYPD police motorcycle unit. So they are here helping this procession, I should say, escorting the body of Corporal Eugene Cole to Bangor today. They are a part of this very large procession that is scheduled to get going any moment now. You could see that these officers look like they are going to mount these bikes. It's expected to be about 40 vehicles within the procession carrying the family of Corporal Cole, as well as his colleagues from the Somerset County Sheriff's Department and several other members of law enforcement. There's expected to be a fire truck as well from Heartland Fire Department. I can see a fire truck behind the funeral home way in the back on the street. That is actually the fire department that Corporal Eugene Cole's nephew serves in. He's a firefighter there. Now, what we're seeing now is the NYPD officers and the Maine officers. Everyone is lining up at this time. I can imagine that right now we'll be seeing a respectful procession of the hearse being brought to the front. The hearse is actually going to be behind those motorcycles. And let's just watch at this time to see this respectful moment of these law officers helping out their fellow law enforcement officer one last time. Traffic here on Madison Avenue is expected to be stopped while the procession moves out of the funeral home parking lot. And right now, lining the streets, there are people from around Skowhegan and I imagine from around the state of Maine waiting for the procession to pass by so they can pay their respects. It really shows you what an impact just this loss of life is on the entire Maine community, with people coming out to be able to pay their respects to this man who has given 13 years of his life to the Sheriff's Department. Corporal Cole was 61 years old when he died on April 25th in the line of duty, serving his community and his state. Again, 13 years with the Sheriff's Department, 13 years of service. Many people here probably know him for other reasons. He was a musician playing at local area restaurants from time to time, a gifted guitarist and singer. He was a father, a husband, somebody many of us can relate to. And that's why there are so many people out here today wanting to see this procession go by, to say one last goodbye, and I'm sure one last thank you for the years of dedicated service that this man has given. There's a large flag risen by 2 cranes at the end of Madison Avenue. You may be able to see that. The funeral procession will pass underneath of that as it heads towards Bangor. I can give you an idea of the route that this procession should be taking. Now, they were scheduled to leave at 10 a.m., but of course I can imagine with the number of people that they are trying to organize here, it needs a little bit more time, and the officers are still standing at attention. They'll be traveling on Route 2 east to Newport, where the procession will get onto I-95, then head to Bangor. where they'll head down I-395 and, of course, finally onto Main Street, where they will stop at the Cross Insurance Center in Bangor for that public funeral. Thousands of people, law enforcement officers, civilians, family, friends, acquaintances, people who care about this man, expected to pay their final respects today. Now, I am seeing several sheriff's deputies standing at attention by the hearse in the parking lot. Some traffic confusion at this time. There we go. They are loading the casket into the hearse right now as we speak. There is a American flag draped on the casket. Taps is being played. A lone bagpiper. This is Amazing Grace, excuse me. Sheriff's deputies standing at salute, officers standing at salute. The deputies and the officers have now been let at ease, where they will continue into the funeral procession. Again, the New York Police Department has brought their motorcycle group, their motorcycle unit of police officers to lead this procession. Everyone here standing along the sidewalks watching this they're absolutely silent. This is definitely a powerful moment for everyone to take in. Maine hasn't lost a law enforcement officer in the line of duty in nearly 30 years. This is a difficult day for many people to absorb. But at the same time, you see how much support and frankly how much love for not just the officer, the deputy I should say, but for the human, the man that's being laid to rest later today. Again, there will be about 40 vehicles within this funeral procession. Another testament to just how many people want to be involved in that final goodbye. And even more impactful within those cruisers that will be going by today, within those 40 vehicles, will be the cruiser that Corporal Cole drove, 1312, from the Somerset County Deputies, Somerset County Sheriff's Department, that will be in line with the 20 cruisers from that department that's expected to be a part of this procession today. I could see some of the civilians in attendance at the funeral home today who were walking in after parking their cars, and not only are they wearing black, obviously traditional to wear to a funeral, but the majority of them are wearing black and blue, royal blue, representing the thin blue line out of respect for a fallen officer. Now, Scarborough police on these motorcycles are going to halt traffic to allow the procession to flow down Madison Avenue. Behind these motorcycles will be the hearse carrying Corporal Eugene Cole's body. They'll be heading east towards Newport, and then they'll head to Bangor. We'll continue to watch as they come out of the parking lot of the Smart and Edwards Funeral Home and flow into town. A huge procession of vehicles expected, 40 vehicles in all, 20 of them alone, at least 20 from the Somerset County Sheriff's Office, to follow, and one of those vehicles being the cruiser that Corporal Eugene Cole drove every day. Blue ribbons have been hung on these telephone poles, all the telephone poles surrounding the funeral home as well. I'm just noticing this now, actually, above those blue ribbons on the telephone pole. If we can get a shot of one of those, 1312, along with the symbol for the Somerset County Sheriff's Department. 1312 was the number cruiser that Corporal Eugene Cole drove every day. People along the road here watching, removing their hats. Some taking pictures, wanting to remember this moment. And in the distance over Madison Avenue, a huge American flag held up by 2 fire trucks. Officers are still motioning for cars to pass at this time while their colleagues continue to get set up on their motorcycles. One of the cars that will be at the front of this procession, Detective Jeremy Leal of the Somerset County Sheriff's Department, somebody who worked closely with Corporal Cole for many years. I think it's impossible to find one person here who doesn't have a multitude of stories about this man. Not just the deputy, but the man that this human being was. Many people remember him as a musician, and of course his family here remembering him as a father and a husband. His nephew is expected to be a part of this with the Heartland Fire Department. They'll be bringing up the rear of the procession. Actually, you can see the Heartland fire truck waiting on Dyer Street to the left here. The fire truck right over here on the corner of Dyer Street and Madison Avenue, waiting to bring up the rear of that procession. We're going to stay here until they begin to leave. And we will be following the procession all the way to Bangor. You can definitely watch us online. We'll also be on Facebook Live, taking you all the way to Bangor, following this procession, the last journey that Corporal Cole will make in his time here serving Maine. And right in front of us here, in front of the motorcycles, the car, the cruiser, 1312, 1312, Corporal Cole's cruiser. That cruiser is going to be a part of, we just got a thumbs up, the cruiser is going to be a part of 20 vehicles, 20 cruisers from the Somerset County Sheriff's Department. And it looks like we're about to get going here. Blue lights are flashing. Those motorcycles are revving up. Years on the Somerset County Sheriff's Department, a service to his community that is obviously very much appreciated, as we see right now by this display from law enforcement and from civilians watching. And let's just take a moment now, for behind these motorcycles is the hearse that will be carrying Corporal Cole's body. Cars following immediately behind the hearse, the family of Corporal Cole. We actually just saw his brother in the front seat of one of the SUVs. And the procession continues with several cars from the Somerset County Sheriff's Department. And they're lighting it up blue today in memory of their fallen hero. And you know what? I'm actually seeing now 1312 on the front of every single one of these cars, displaying the number of the cruiser that Corporal Cole drove every day. 1312 on the front of every Somerset County Sheriff's Deputy's car. It's a procession very much of the highest level of honor and respect, seeing the amount of law enforcement officers turning out here to escort their colleague to his final resting place, first to the funeral in Bangor and later to his place of rest. And as those last sheriff's deputies' cars, we can see from Hancock County, pulling out behind the procession, the Heartland Fire Department fire truck will be pulling out as well, bringing up the rear. A state trooper will accompany them, and the state trooper's license plate says CPL Cole. And there they go. CPL Cole on the back of that Maine on their way to Bangor to the Cross Insurance Center, where thousands of people are expected to turn out for the funeral. I'm going to come back into the frame now, and Don, Cindy, for now, we will send things back to you, but we will be carrying the procession all the way to Bangor live on our Facebook page and online, so be sure to tune in there. Again, we will be carrying that all the way to Bangor. Live in Skowhegan for News Center Maine, I'm Katie Bavoso. Don and Cindy, back to you.
All right, Katie, thank you so much. And